You just finished running the numbers on a new Forex strategy, and the backtest looks flawless. An 80% win rate, a steady, uninterrupted climb to profit. Then the illusion shatters. You take the strategy live, but instead of that smooth climb, the market immediately hands you a brutal string of losses. Your account is wiped out before your strategy's long-term edge even has a chance to kick in. What you just experienced is the deadliest blind spot in trading: sequence risk. Traditional backtesting is inherently flawed because it only shows you one specific historical timeline. It assumes the future will unfold in the exact same order as the past, manufacturing an illusion of safety from an unrepeatable series of events. Look at 10 trades, 8 winning blocks scaling up, and 2 massive losing blocks. Because losses happen last, you net a profit. But change the order. If those losses hit day 1, your account drops below the threshold, triggering a margin call before winning begins. The exact same win rate, the exact same profit and loss targets, but completely different outcomes. Because the order of your trades dictates your survival. Relying on a single historical sequence completely invalidates the assumed safety of a basic backtest. To actually understand the risk you're taking, you need a computational tool capable of mapping all mathematically probable futures. You need a Monte Carlo simulation. Instead of predicting the market, it tests the limits of probability. You start by feeding the engine the raw metrics from your trading journal: your historical win rate, your average win size, and your average loss. The simulation takes those inputs and heavily randomizes them. It shuffles the order of your historical performance to generate thousands of entirely new hypothetical equity curves. A moment of wonder. This graph shows the result of that process. A single predictive timeline explodes into a massive distribution cloud. You can clearly see the profitable median outcome in the center, flanked by the extreme outlier scenarios at the very top and bottom. This data cloud maps the true boundaries of your strategy's resilience. You are no longer looking at a single hindsight narrative, but thousands of foresight probabilities. But this engine is highly sensitive. In data analysis, the golden rule is always garbage in, garbage out. If you try to run a simulation on 30 trades, the math falls apart. You need a bare minimum of 100 strictly documented historical trades to ensure your statistical sample is actually valid. You also cannot feed the engine curve-fitted data or mix metrics from different, constantly tweaked trading systems. If the inputs are over-optimized to look perfect, the simulation will inherit those flaws. A simulation can only accurately reflect your future risk if the foundational past data was executed consistently and with rigorous discipline. Staring at a chaotic cloud of overlapping lines isn't practical for daily trading. We have to extract hard mathematical risk metrics from that data. First, look at this single downward path highlighted at the bottom. This represents the maximum drawdown. The simulation isolated the single worst peak-to-trough drop your strategy could theoretically face. Next, we draw a hard horizontal line to represent an unacceptable loss threshold. The software calculates what percentage of simulated paths terminate below that line. This is your probability of ruin. By calculating these absolute extremes, you mathematically anticipate your worst-case scenario ahead of time. When a losing streak hits, you don't panic because you already mapped it. We can use these metrics to optimize a strategy right now. Let's set up a test where we keep all the core trading rules identical, but alter the risk per trade from 1% up to 3%. These histograms show the final outcomes. While 3% risk might look highly profitable in a simple backtest, the simulation on the right exposes a thick tail extending deep into negative territory. This means a massive probability of ruin. Watch what happens when risk drops back to 1%. That dangerous negative tail completely vanishes. The risk of total wipeout collapses, safely preserving the strategy's profitable edge. Monte Carlo analysis is the only quantitative way to find the precise mathematical sweet spot between maximizing your capital gains and surviving inevitable bad luck. Amateur speculators rely solely on what happened in the past. Professional risk managers prepare for what could happen in the future. Stop hoping your backtests will hold up in live markets. Utilize FXNX's suite of trading analytics, map out the possibilities, and rigorously stress test your edge today.